Hi everybody, and welcome to Q&A Wednesday, where I answer the questions that everybody has about health and fitness. And today, of course, I'm actually revisiting this one. I mentioned it a couple years ago, but I get it all the time. What is the secret to reaching my goals, my health and fitness goals? There's got to be something I'm missing. Is there a secret pill? Is there something that I'm just missing on that one? And I'm gonna keep it super, super simple today, because there actually is one thing that you need to be thinking about no matter what your health goal is, right? If you're working towards being a healthier person, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to just feel better, those of us that get a little bit older, we realize our bodies aren't like they were when we were 20. We can't do the things that we did and get away with it. There's things that you can do to still feel better, to feel amazing, to feel more human. But you've got to really do it on purpose. So we're gonna keep it super, super simple. Again, if you're just joining me, I see a couple people hopping on, including my brother-in-law. We're talking about what is the secret, what is the one thing that you have to do in order to reach your goals, no matter what they are. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to keep it super, super simple. Guys, you have to cut out the junk food. You have to cut out the junk. You have to that's it. You have to cut it out. I am floored and flabbergasted as to what people think is healthy when it comes to nutrition. It's even the things that we've been told over the last 20 years, the food pyramid and the myplate.gov, you know what? It's all garbage. It's based on ill-gotten research. So even the things that you think are healthy are really not. If you just honestly cut out the garbage, you'll be able to reach your goals no matter what they are. Now, it might take you a little while. Realize you can't undo, 3 decades worth of crappy eating and not exercising or drinking a lot of beer. You can't do that in 3 weeks. It's going to take you some time. The older we are, the more time that's going to take, because we put so much garbage into our bodies. And don't get me wrong, even if you're eating the perfect things, we still have the environmental toxins and the things that we put on our skin and our body absorbs. So we have kind of this inundation of toxins from a lot of different directions that's affecting how healthy that we can possibly be. So, it's interesting because I'm having to take yet another nutrition course. This time it's actually through the college, so I can get credit for it. But it's amazing to me what information is in my book that I'm still going, really? You're still preaching this garbage? And we're learning that a lot of this information is incorrect. Like saturated fat and cholesterol is bad for you. Oh, good Lord. No, it's not. And it does not create heart disease. The problem is sugar and junk. So let's talk about that. So really quick, again, I just answered the question. I know it didn't, not a lot of fanfare, right? The problem is we're eating the wrong things. You've got to cut out the junk. So let's talk a little bit about that. Number one, sugar. Sugar is a problem. You guys, you understand it's a toxin, right? And it's unfortunate because it's highly addictive. It actually lights up the same part of our brain as drugs, right? Like crack. So our body releases dopamine. Our body likes how it feels. And then of course you crash not too long after the fact. So sugar, unfortunately, is an addictive substance, and it is in everything in the American diet at this point. So you even have to be careful of some of the natural foods that have a little bit of natural sugars in it. But for the most part, we're talking about the added sugars, the refined sugar that's in everything. I mean, look at the ingredients. You're going to find sugar in multiple different forms in almost every product. And definitely if it's processed, even if I remember looking at a bag of corn chips once, because one of my clients says, well, look, it doesn't contain sugar. I'm like, okay, but you got to look at what's in it. It breaks down into sugar immediately in your bloodstream. So if it's a processed food, it's going to basically turn into garbage in your system immediately. So you got to cut out the sugars. You got to cut out the highly processed food, and it's out there. If you have not educated yourself about healthy, nutritious food, I know we've gotten so far away from it, and we're all looking at packages and we're looking where it says like it's a healthy option. If it's shelf stable, guys, it is not healthy. It is not a whole clean food. It's not, our bodies weren't designed to deal with that. All of those additives and preservatives are toxins, and they do affect our body in a very negative way. So if that's primarily what you eat, case in point, I watch teenagers all the time walk down from the high school to the convenience store and walk back with a giant soda pop, a bag of Takis or hot Cheetos, and a candy bar. And I'm going, okay, that is literally the worst thing you could put in your system. And it does affect them immediately. They just don't realize it. Actually, one of the most interesting facts that I've come upon multiple times in multiple directions is that Sugar actually lowers your immune system immediately by 40%. So if you wonder why you're getting sick all the time and you have a regular diet full of sugar and things that turn to sugar in your system, that's why. It actually blunts your immune system and it really creates gut dysbiosis. So you got to cut out the sugars. The highly processed food, again, all of those colors, the dyes, the things that make it shelf stable, your body it can't handle that. So you keep putting it in your body. Not only does it make you not feel good, but it also creates disease. So Monty says it's toxic waste. It absolutely is. Now, I get it. Like, I love sugar. I have a sweet tooth. I'm a carb addict. I get it. But I don't eat sugar on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, a carb cycle, so it's a little different. But when I do get sugar, it's a natural sugar for the most part, like berries, apples, fruits. So it's fresh produce. I'm not getting the refined sugars all the time. Now, again, I love my M&Ms, so don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't ever do it, but I know how I feel when I do it, and I don't like it. The other thing that we got to start cutting out are the polyunsaturated fats. Now, that's a little different than saturated fats. The polyunsaturated fats, unfortunately, create oxidization in our body, which talk free radicals, and most of us are not getting enough antioxidants to deal with it because those come from the phytonutrients, vegetables. Rarely, even for me, and I eat a lot of vegetables at this point, guys, you're not getting enough nutrients to counterbalance the garbage that you're sticking in your body. So you're kind of creating insult to injury to insult, whatever that is, because you're now sticking garbage in your body and then you're not giving it the ability to burn it off, get rid of it, take care of it, kind of a thing. Monty wants to know, is stevia safe or at least better than sugar? Absolutely. So really quickly to kind of divert from what we're talking about, stevia is made from a plant. There are sugar substitutes such as sucralose, which is a sugar derivative. And then you've got aspartame, which is already proven to cause cancer in lab rats. And granted, we're not lab rats, but it's enough information to make you go, maybe I shouldn't be using this because there's better, safer options. Then you've also got the sugar alcohols. Now, the downside to that is even the sugar substitutes can create gut dysbiosis, which means it throws off your gut health, right? We have that microbiota. We have all the bacteria, the good bacteria, the bad bacteria, they all have to play nice and keep each other balanced. And so when we're throwing some of those things like sugar alcohols in there, I don't know about you, but I actually get bloated and feel really gross when I ingest too many sugar alcohols. So my couple of stories of that. Number one, the first time I ever had a Think Thin Crunch bar, I think is what they were called. I wanted to die. Like, my stomach bloated up and I was miserable. Same thing with several years ago, they came out. Like I said, I like to have my sugar fix, and they had something called, it was like ice candy or something to that effect. And it was made with xylitol. Well, one day I ate almost 2 tins of that product and I was in a fetal position for about 6 hours because what it created in my system was so much bloating and gas that my body couldn't handle it. So again, you have to be careful with some of those sugar substitutes. Some of them, like sucralose, actually will spike your blood sugar just as much as regular sugar. And then you've got the people that tout, well, how about the natural sugars like honey and agave and maple syrup? It's still sugar. It still spikes your insulin. It still causes your body to actually store the excess calories in adipose tissue. So again, yeah, you can use all of the excuses and the justification you want, but you're still going to struggle to get where you want to go if you're still eating those products. Now, as for stevia, at least at this point, because it is an extract from the stevia leaf, it's a better option. Now, a lot of people don't like the bitter taste that comes with it, and it also depends on the form that you use it in, whether it's a granulated form, whether it's a tincture or liquid form. Some of them are just made better than others. But in general, it's recognized as being pretty safe at this point. For me, even when I'm being super clean and taking sucralose out of my diet, I still use a little bit of stevia in my coffee. So it's, out of all the options, that is one of your better options that does not spike. It's been shown not to spike blood sugar and not create the same gut issues and the dysbiosis that the other stuff can. So good question. Okay, so back to our target Again, so polyunsaturated fats, the problem is like trans fats. So if you're eating a bunch of deep fried garbage, if you're using a lot of vegetable oil, including soybean oil, peanut oil, those actually all create problems within your system, and thereby, especially if you're struggling to reach your goals and you're using some of these products, you're going to have to be a little more diligent about paying attention to what's in them. So if you look at the ingredient list on the products that you're using, if it has more than about 3 ingredients on it, you probably shouldn't be eating it on a regular basis. Now, again, if you eat a piece of cake at somebody's birthday party one time during this month, and maybe next month you have a cocktail with somebody, not the worst deal in the world. The problem is that majority of Americans are doing this on a daily basis, every meal, and then can't figure out why they're miserable, they don't feel good, their joints hurt. That's called inflammation. Now we could get into the details of why our body creates inflammation. It's actually a necessity. So, when we're sick or when we have an injury, we need that inflammation. But the chronic inflammation that comes with eating all this garbage is going to lead you away from your goals and make you feel absolutely horrible. So, at some point you're going to have to come to the conclusion and make a decision what the trade-off is. Do I want to feel good, or do I want to keep eating all this garbage that I know is not good for me and is creating disease within my body? So, again, yes, some of it might be genetic, but you're creating an environment that stimulates the disease and the issues. Thereby, you do have some control over it. You have to pay attention. Just checking my notes, make sure I covered everything really quick. Oh, malnutrition. So again, the other issue is that most of us aren't getting enough of the right vitamins and minerals. We're not getting enough variety of healthy foods. Even people who are obese, if you look at what they're eating, technically they're malnutritioned. They might be eating a lot of calories, a lot of empty calories, right? And don't think that just because a food is fortified that it is going to give you the nutrients that you need. It's usually completely, it's synthetic. Your body doesn't utilize it the same. It doesn't break it down the same. It's not as healthy. So, yeah, you can supplement, but it's not nearly as good. I don't believe that my people should necessarily have to supplement. Maybe a good multivitamin, but the majority of your nutrients you should get through food. Your body knows how to deal with it, how to utilize it, how to break it down and keep you healthy. So malnutrition is a huge deal, even within the United States, where we do have an abundance of convenient food. Yeah, it's created a whole new problem, right? That's what the obesity epidemic is from. So a couple of things really quick I want to talk about is, really be careful with some of those myths. Pepsi Cola and Coke would like you to believe that, all calories matter and that we have to balance things. True to an extent, but when the calories are coming from processed foods, your body doesn't treat them the same as when it comes from whole nutritious food. So don't let them bully you into thinking, oh, well, and again, once in a while, big deal. But because the way that we look at food these days and it's so readily available, most of us are eating a lot of things that we shouldn't be. And the other one that really drives me crazy, and again, just see it all the time, is that fat causes fat. Such garbage. Now, granted, if you eat way too much of anything, your body's going to store it in adipose tissue. But really, the problem comes down to highly processed, because your body has to deal with it quickly. And fat is your body's survival mechanism on multiple levels, right? So if you're eating a bunch of garbage, it has to store those toxins somewhere so you don't die immediately. And where's that going to be? Well, it's going to be fat, adipose tissue. Hence the reason why a lot of my clients, as soon as they start to burn fat, they actually get sick again, because a lot of those toxins that their body's been storing, sometimes for decades, is now recirculating throughout their body. It's one of those great theories I had that I eventually read the research behind it and proved my own theory. Kind of like when that happens. So really, your takeaway, guys, is that it has to be a lifestyle. If you want to have a Twinkie here and there, I get it, right? But you can't do that on a regular basis and still reach your health goals. At some level, I think we have this unrealistic expectation that if I eat clean for 2 days a week, I'm going to get where I want to go. No, get over it, guys. You're going to have to do that on a regular basis. It has to become a lifestyle. Those extras, right? The Twinkies, the candy bars, that has to be once in a long while. You can't do that on a daily basis and feel good and get where you want to go. Now, you 20-year-olds, again, you might be able to get away with it for a little bit because you're not feeling that immediate degradation that it's causing you. But then when you hit 30 and 40 and you feel disgusting and you're fat and unhealthy, Yeah, that's what doing that in your teens and 20s does to your body. So keep that in mind. Be proactive. Take care of it now so that you can feel better and live longer and live healthier and have a quality of life. So hopefully that helps. I know it's not the answer you wanted to hear. You wanted to hear some like pill from Africa in the bush, something. That's just not how it rolls, guys. If you want to reach your health goals, you're going to have to cut out the junk. Sabrina's asking, sometimes when I start burning fat, I get a weird taste in my mouth. Oh yeah. You realize that stuff totally recirculates throughout your body. Totally does. Kind of the same thing if you ever, once you start eating clean and then you eat something that's not quite so clean, multiple things happen. Number one, things that I used to enjoy a lot because they were sweet are too sweet, right? Because I eat a lot of whole clean food and I enjoy it. My taste buds have changed to enjoy that. But number two, when I ingest things that I know that my body has to now deal with, you're gonna have some weird taste in your mouth. You're gonna feel different. There's a lot that does happen, but I think because we get so used to it because we eat it on such a regular basis that we don't realize it until we do start eating clean. And then once in a blue moon, we eat that and go, oh, wow, I don't feel good by doing that. So great question. Do some research. You guys, the information is out there. It's just not going to be given to you by your doctor. And I know your doctor means well, and granted, that I have complete respect for their education. The problem being is that they don't have enough nutrition education, and nutrition is where we've got disease prevention. There's a lot of things that we can actually heal and cure through our nutrition, but nobody teaches us that, right? They just don't give us that information, that education while we're in school. So I'm here to teach you. Just listen. Please ask all the questions you want. You guys get my best ideas from you. So either leave a message down below, leave a comment, ask all the questions. These have been great. Or you can message me directly on Facebook Messenger. I do respond. Again, don't be creepy because it's been happening lately. But give me your ideas because I want to make sure that you know the right way. I want you to know the truth. I don't want you to know all the garbage that apparently, because everything on the internet is true. So have an incredible evening, you guys. I promise there will be meals with Melissa this weekend. Last weekend was a little crazy. Got to enjoy some time with my hubby. But there will be meals with Melissa this week. I got a couple good ones for you. So have an incredible night, you guys. And until next week, that is Q&A Wednesday. Have a good one.